have a gentleman who's been headlining here at the Comedy Club. He is from Rehovot. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to Mr. Pinchas Levinson, everybody.
Great, thank you very much, Ari. Yes, it is a real pleasure to be here, back among the ranks of the unpaid as opposed to the not paid. It's a real treat, and I hope to give you a good show tonight. Okay, everyone know what was the big news of the week? Big news of the week, anyone? Yes, indeed. Active group out there. It was the Marmara, right? This Turkish ship, you know, Marmara on the wall. Yeah, it was bad news. Whoa! Anybody out there watch the news or the papers? You know, yeah, it was bad news. And, okay, so let's recreate it very briefly. Okay, so this Shayeta 13 elite unit comes down with their paintball rifles. Okay, now paintball rifles. I mean, everybody knows that nighttime photography is infrared. It's black and white. I mean, why the paintballs? Okay. And then, of course, you know, they drop down and they shoot the first guy, you know, and he continues to whack the Shayet, you know, and the guy says, well, you know, I shot you, you're out. And the terrorist keeps on hitting him. What did the Army learn from this? First thing is they have to drop flyers on the boat, right, to let the people know the rules of paintball. And when you get hit, you stop. Okay, but anyway, they continued on. And these guys land, and, you know, these poor Army guys, right, you know, they thought they were going to get a bunch of peaceniks, you know, a bunch of these left-wing Ashkenazis, and they got these terrorists, you know. So what was another thing that they learned? Of course, that the next time they drop on one of these ships, they'll be wearing their sign that says, in Arabic, of course, no michazan sefi, you know, because you gotta soften up the crowd, okay. And then, of course, what was the complaint of? I mean, how did the Turkish crew know that these were Israelis? Okay, because after these commandos left, there were no towels or faucets in any of the rooms. Okay, you know, again, this is a typical Israeli shtick. Okay, and then, of course, the Arab MKs, you know, there were a bunch of them who landed, who went on this flotilla. Okay. So they took, you know, they had to register for the flotilla, they had to go fly, they had to come back on it, and the weird thing was they were able to use all those expenses for their allocations for reaching out to the voters, right? I mean, this is a classic here in Israel where you meet your enemy and he is you. And then, of course, on the level of realpolitik, why did Erdogan actually authorize his this sort of invasive attack? And it was because he said, you know, for years you've been sending me Ayal Golan, okay, you know, ship after ship with Ayal Golan, and so what? He said, you know what, I'm going to give you some of your own medicine back. I'm going to send you my RC. Okay, their very own Ayal Golan. And of course the anti-terrorist unit, always on the job. They're coming out this week with their list of places where Israelis can go visit this summer, you know. That's about the status that we're at. And then, of course, who was the big winner, or one of the big winners, the few winners in this episode? It was, of course, Danny Ayalon. Why? Because he said, well, you know, you see that incident with the Turkish ambassador, it really wasn't anything, you know. It's, whatever, there weren't too many winners, but he was one of them. And then, of course, anybody here watch Israeli television? Hello? Anybody out there? Anyway, right, so they had a show called Survival. Okay, what was this week's episode, right? They had to stop this advancing ship and turn it into a political relations success, you know. And of course, now we're in the season, we're in the warm-up for next year's, what do they call these, teasers for next season. Okay, so what's going to be one of the big shows? It's going to be, you know, survival, diplomacy in Turkey. You know, they're going to take a look at all these families. And then, anybody watch TV? There's a series called Srugim. Yeah. You know, right, it's sort of anodyne, it's sort of part of a soap opera. Anyway, so what's the teaser for next season, right? You know, he says to her, you know, kiddish at my place or yours. You know, that's about the level of intrigue. But anyway, back to our major story of the day. And of course, what did the home front learn from this is that in the next invasion, all right, or the next war, we're all supposed to go turn on our YouTube Army information channel, and that's really where we're going to get what we should be doing. And of course, the residents of the South have been instructed that upon the next war, they are to race to their telephone and cancel their Turkish vacation. You know, that's about what we're up to. And then, of course, you've all started your Turkish boycott. Well, we have our very own war over here. Yo! Put the cameras on this, please. Yo! Wow. Nice. Anyway, whoa! Anyway, pardon me. Yeah, this. Anyway, we have our.
Machitza.
Right, machitza, right. Yeah. Anyway, you all started your boycott, right? What was the first thing you boycott from Turkey, right? Other than the vacations, right? You boycott your coffee, right? Turkish coffee. We're not going to call it freedom coffee, right? You don't drink freedom coffee every morning. We'll see how long that lasts. And our buddy Ahmadinejad, he didn't object to any of this, right? You know, for him, this is great. You know, he's going to throw those Israelis into the sea, and they'll learn to drink the water from Gaza by themselves, and he's only too happy to do that. And the settlers, what was their take on this? Of course, they said, well, you know what? From now on, we're only going to be evacuated by the Shayat of 13. You know, everybody loves them now. Everybody wants to identify with them. So are the settlers. And our very own Itai Ben-Gvir. You guys know who Itai Ben-Gvir is? Anyone? Itamar, very good. Itamar Ben-Gvir, anyone? Yeah, okay, right. He's your local right-wing rabble-rouser. Anyway, his take on this was that, you know, if we could knock off 9 terrorists, why couldn't we get 72, you know, humanity organization volunteer females to go with them? Take them all with them. Anyway, that was the big story of the week. We had other news this week, which was even more hilarious. Of course, there was Raphael Eitan. Anybody know Raphael Eitan, right? Anyone? Anyway, Raphael Eitan was head of the Gilaim party, okay? And he had a news conference this week, and what did he say? He said, okay, you know what, I'm coming back, okay? Because all those voters who remembered what we didn't do right, they're dead. So now he's got a whole new crew of voters to work on, and anyway, they're going to come up with a new look and feel. They're going to have 3 prostates, 4 facelifts, and there's going to be a new party. Anyway, the last news of the week was, of course, Ram Emanuel, brought his family here, okay? You guys remember this? For a bar mitzvah for his son? Yeah, okay, so, you know, his son was really taken by all the Jewish rituals, you know, I mean, especially like the ceremony where you throw stones on top of the father of the bar mitzvah boy, you know. And what were his closing remarks? He said, you know, I always wanted to have a bar mitzvah with my family here in Jerusalem, the eternal capital of Palestine. Thank you very much. It's been a lovely audience. You can find me